Thank you, Sue, for the introduction. Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to present to you the Carnipure L-Carnitine and its effect on the weight management. So I will be first talking about the now Carnipure L-Carnitine and the product itself. And then we'll have a Carnipure overview on its mechanism of action, the science that had been generated around the Carnipure in order to support the claims in different applications. And I will end up describing the Lonza promise and our value proposition. So the now Carnipure L-Carnitine, it is basically the salt form of the L-Carnitine, so the tartrate salt. Lonza came up with this salt form of the L-Carnitine in order to improve the flowability of the ingredient. As you know, you might know, the L-Carnitine by itself is very hygroscopic and it can take water very easily. So this L-Carnitine tartrate for this ingredient has a better flowability, which makes it more suitable for dry applications such as protein powder or capsules. So the main application for the Carnipure is to support the fitness and in particular the recovery after exercise. So it does support the muscle comfort after exercise. Its main mechanism and role is really to produce energy in the cell. And that is achieved by transporting fatty acids into the mitochondria. And these fatty acids are then delivered to a serial of reaction in the cells in order to produce energy under the form of ATP. The carnitine sold by Lonza is a vegetarian source of L-carnitine. It is made synthetically, so there is no animal, it's a non-animal source. And it is also included in VEG capsules, non-GMO VEG capsules, which is the third generation of vegetarian capsules for health-conscious consumer. So let's see what does the L-carnitine and the Carnipure L-carnitine for the weight management. So first of all, what is the L-carnitine? On the right side of this slide, you can see the molecular structure of the L-carnitine. So it is a water-soluble, vitamin-like substance. It is present in the diet, but only in the meat-based products. It is very high in the red meat. And actually, in 1905, the L-carnitine has been first purified by two Russian scientists from the red meat. It is very low in the plant-based diet and in the grain. And our body can synthesize actually L-carnitine from two amino acids, the L-lysine and the methionine, that takes place in the liver and the kidney. But this synthesis accounts only for 25% of our daily need in L-carnitine. As I said, its basic role is to produce energy from fat, but also from carbohydrates and protein. So what it does, basically, it transports the fatty acids into the mitochondria, so the fat can be used to produce energy. It maintains also the cell function, and that's by binding to free energy substances. And it acts as a free radical scavenger. So the antioxidant effect of L-carnitine has been reported in many animal and clinical studies by measuring different kinds of biomarkers, oxidative stress biomarkers, especially after exercise. The L-carnitine maintains also the cell integrity, and again, it transports non-soluble, fat-soluble compounds into the body. And here is the basic molecular mechanism. You can see here a cartoon of the cell, and the orange color refers to the cytosol. So in the cytosol, the L-carnitine binds the fatty acids. These are medium and long chain fatty acids. And the complex of fatty acids and L-carnitine is then transported into the mitochondrion utilizing specialized transporters. And inside the mitochondria, In the matrix, the L-carnitine is then delivered to the coenzyme A, where the fatty acids go through a process called beta oxidation, which is basically the breakdown of the long chain fatty acids in shorter molecules, 2 carbon molecules. These 2 carbon molecules enter a process called Krebs cycle, which is a series of reactions that leads eventually to the formation of energy under the form of ATP, the adenosine triphosphate. Once the L-carnitine delivers the fatty acids to the beta oxidation, it exits then the mitochondrial matrix back to the cytosol in order to be engaged in another round of fatty acid transport. And this basic mechanism of action has been shown in the clinical setting. So this is a clinical trial run by Müller and his colleagues in 2002, proving this mechanism of action. So what they did in the trial, they supplemented 10 healthy untrained subjects with 3 grams of L-carnitine per day, and that's for a period of 10 days. The healthy subject age was between 22 and 37, and they had about normal weight, normal BMI. So the BMI was between 20 and 24 kilogram per meter square. And in order to assess the activity of the L-carnitine and the rate of the beta oxidation, these individuals were supplemented with 1 gram of palmitic acid, which is a fatty acid transported by the carnitine. And the palmitic acid is labeled. So it is the C13 palmitic acid, and this labeling will allow to follow the fate of the palmitic acid in the metabolism. So what they did then, they measured the carbon dioxide, also the traceable carbon dioxide, so the C13 carbon dioxide, which is the product of degradation of the palmitic acid. And the results are shown in the right side of the slide. The y-axis represents the level of carbon dioxide measured in the expired breath of the subjects, and the x-axis represents the time. So as you can see, when the subjects were not supplemented with the L-carnitine, there is a production of carbon dioxide represented in the green squares, but this production is significantly lower than the production seen when the subjects were supplemented with L-carnitine. So there was a significant increase in the C13 carbon dioxide production when the subjects were supplemented with the L-carnitine and compared to placebo, and this indicates a significant increase in the fatty acid oxidation. Given the effect of Carnipure L-carnitine on the rate of fatty acid oxidation, it becomes then appealing to some categories of population seeking for weight management improvement. And some of these individuals are the individuals seeking to lose weight, millennials who are looking on improving their weight and maintaining healthy weight, vegetarians. As I said earlier, L-carnitine is found in meat-based products, and actually 75% of our daily need in L-carnitine comes from the diet. And if vegetarians do not consume meat, then they require some supplementation of the L-carnitine. I'm going to talk also today about a new focus on the Carnipure and the weight management, which is the older population. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. So I'll be presenting 4 main clinical trials that we use to support the claims around the effect of Carnipure L-carnitine on weight management. A recent meta-analysis run in 2016, where both Lonza-sponsored clinical trials and third-party clinical trials have been assessed. Another Lonza sponsored trial published in 2013, where Carnipure was supplemented in addition with the motivational training. I'll be talking also about a trial in 2010 by Sauer, looking at the effect of Carnipure supplementation among young overweight girls. And one of the earliest research on the effect of Carnipure on weight management by Katz and his group in 1992 looked at the effect of low dose of Carnipure, 200 milligram dose of Carnipure in combination with Chromium on parameters of weight management as well. So this is the meta-analysis. This meta-analysis included 9 randomized placebo-controlled trials, and it looked at 2 main parameters, the weight and the BMI. So this meta-analysis concluded on the following effects. There was a significant increase in the weight, 3 pounds decrease, in the weight among people who were supplemented with Carnipure compared to the placebo. And there was also a significant decrease in the BMI with the Carnipure supplementation, -0.47 kilogram per meter square. The following trial, published by Odo and his colleagues in 2013, looked at the combination of Carnipure at 500 milligram per day with motivational training. This is the design of the trial. So the trial included 4 different groups. 1 placebo group, 1 supplemental group that used 500 milligram per day of Carnipure with motivational training, and an additional group with Carnipure without motivational training. The number of subjects in the trial was 24, and these are overweight males. This is a pilot randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial, so there are several endpoints that have been assessed here. The body fat mass, the body weight, the BMI, the muscle mass, the basal metabolism, and the weight circumference. The endpoints assessed here are the baseline and 4 weeks after supplementation. And the main results here that the Carnipure supplementation, in addition to the motivational training, showed the greatest effect and the most significant effect. So there was an effect on decreasing the body weight in the Carnipure supplementation versus placebo. And there was also an effect on decreasing the triglyceride level in the plasma compared to the placebo when the individuals took the Carnipure. So the Carnipure supplementation helped decrease the body weight and also improve the lipid parameters, the plasma lipid parameters. And the greatest effects, again, were seen when the Carnipure was supplemented in addition to the motivational training at the baseline. The following trial from Sauer and his colleagues looked at the effect of Carnipure supplementation among 30 adolescent girls with age of 15 to 17 years old, and the BMI was between 24 and 29 kilogram per meter square. So these are overweight adolescent girls. The trial included 3 different groups, 1 placebo group, 1 group that went through an exercise routine, also placebo, and 1 group that were supplemented with Carnipure at 2 grams per day. And the group that took Carnipure was also engaged in an exercise routine. As endpoints were assessed the body weight, the BMI, the waist to hip ratio, and the percent of body fat. The trial lasted 12 weeks, and the measurements were taken at baseline and 20 weeks after the supplementation. The main results are represented on the right side of the slide. So the dark blue represents the group, the placebo group, where individuals were not engaged in any exercise. The light blue represents the individuals engaged in an exercise routine. And the gray bar represents the group where individuals were engaged in an exercise routine and also supplemented with 2 grams of carnitine per day. The upper side of the graph shows the effect on the weight loss. So as you can see, pre-supplementation, there was no significant effect in the weight. Post-supplementation, you can see that Carnipure supplementation, in addition to the exercise, showed the greatest and the most significant effect on the weight loss. Similar effects were seen in the body fat content. At the baseline, there is no difference between groups, and at the end of the study, the Carnipure supplemented group, in addition to the exercise, showed the greatest and the most significant effect. So the Carnipure supplementation helped to decrease the body weight and also the fat content and the BMI that is not represented here. So this is the last trial supporting the effect of Carnipure on the weight management that I'm going to talk about today. This trial was published in 1992, and this is not a randomized trial, so this is really an open label trial. The same group of individuals, 40 adults with an age ranging from 19 to 68, and a BMI between 24 and 29, so these are overweight individuals. These same individuals went through 2 different phases. 8 weeks where they received a moderate calorie restriction in their diet, and in the following 8 weeks, and in addition to the moderate calorie restriction, they also consumed 2 dietary fiber cookies, including 200 milligrams of Carnipure and 600 micrograms of Chromium. So the overall duration of the study was 16 weeks. And the main results are represented in the right side of the slide. In the upper panel, you can see the effect on the body weight. So there is a significant decrease in the body weight when the Carnipure and the Chromium supplementation were added to a calorie restriction. The decrease is about 13 pounds. And there is also a significant decrease in the body fat, 10.9% decrease, when carnitine supplementation with calorie restriction was compared to the calorie restriction alone. So the Carnipure and the Chromium supplementation helped decrease the body weight and the percent of body fat when they are added to moderate calorie restriction. So now I'm going to talk about relatively a new application for the Carnipure and the L-Carnitine in general. This application targets a condition called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia, which is basically the muscle loss. It is a Greek word which means literally lack of flash or loss of flash. The word sarx means flash and penia means loss. So this condition is a progressive loss of muscle mass and function over time, which is a natural condition that comes with aging. And on the right side of the slide in this cartoon, you can see how the loss in muscle mass and function takes place over age. So the first part of this graph shows you the increase in the muscle mass and strength as a result of development or growth from the birth to, let's say, 17 to 18 years old. After that, you have the adult life, where there is a maintenance of muscle mass and function and strength. And starting, let's say, 55 years and older, people start experiencing a decline in the lean muscle mass and function as a result of the aging itself. You can see that there is a big variability in the rate of the loss of muscle mass and function among older people. And that's probably due because of different lifestyles. Some people exercise, some people don't, but this variability is the greatest among the oldest people. So the sarcopenia is defined by 3 different parameters. The muscle mass, as I mentioned, the muscle function or strength, and also the physical activity. And this definition has been agreed on and put in place by many working groups. There are also several stages of sarcopenia. There is the stage where people, called pre-sarcopenia, where people start losing very steadily and at a very slow rate the lean muscle mass and function. Usually it happens as early as 35 years old and lasts until 40 or 45 years old. The sarcopenia per se, where this rate of muscle mass and function is a little bit accelerated until 55 years and older. And you have the severe sarcopenia, where people are incapacitated, and this leads eventually to frailty. So we are looking here at the sarcopenia, the normal sarcopenia, where people 55 years and older start experiencing significantly this loss in muscle mass and function. So what Lonza did about a year ago, this is a publication in 2017, we looked at the effect of Carnipure in combination with other amino acids on the sarcopenia and on the muscle mass and function in healthy individuals. So these individuals are 55 to 75 years old. And in this study, we looked at 3 different parameters, which are the lean muscle mass, function, and activity. And as these 3 parameters define the sarcopenia, we included these 3 parameters in a composite score, which was the primary endpoint. So this composite score in the formulated L-Carnitine formulated product was compared to the placebo, where people didn't receive any supplementation. And the results are represented in the right side of the slide. In the upper panel, you can see the primary composite endpoint. So L-Carnitine combination supplementation led to a significant increase in the composite score from the baseline and also as compared to the placebo. In addition, and as secondary endpoints, we saw a significant increase in the total body lean mass, which is driven basically by the leg, not by the trunk. And we saw also a significant increase in the leg lean mass and strength in the supplemented group compared to the placebo. The Carnipure only showed also a trend in the leg lean muscle mass increase, and Carnipure supplementation maintained the muscle strength compared to placebo, where people experienced a decline in the lean muscle mass and strength. We didn't see effects in the arm lean muscle mass function, the 6-minute walk, and the quality of life questionnaire. So in order to understand a little bit the mechanism of action that led to these effects, we collected also muscle biopsy, and we looked at different proteins involved in the pathways known to improve the lean muscle mass. For instance, the mTOR is a protein, part of the mTOR pathway, and the mTOR pathway is the central part in the protein anabolism and the protein synthesis in the muscle. So what we saw that the L-Carnitine combination supplementation led to a significant increase in the mTOR protein versus the baseline and also versus placebo. So the effects that we saw in increasing lean muscle mass and function with the supplementation are probably driven by new protein synthesis in the muscle. So to summarize this discussion, I showed you today the effect of Carnipure on healthy weight. So the Carnipure supplementation does support the healthy weight. Its basic function is really to turn the fat into energy. So people are having more energy and experience a decrease in their fat mass. As I described to you, the Carnipure L-Carnitine is essential in the metabolism of fat, carbohydrate, and protein. It allowed to maintain the lean muscle mass, healthy lean muscle mass, and increase the resting metabolic rate. And these effects, especially in maintaining healthy weight and also healthy lean muscle mass, were seen across all of the generation. We talked today about overweight girls 15 to 17 years old, all the way to older people 55 to 75 years old. So all of this generation can benefit from the effect of Carnipure on the healthy weight and the weight management. So to conclude, the Lonza Carnipure L-Carnitine is made synthetically. It's a chemical synthesis. So it is the L isomer, the active form of the L-Carnitine. It doesn't include the D isomer, which can occur naturally, but the D isomer is inactive. Carnipure L-Carnitine does have a full package of toxicity studies, so it has an excellent safety profile. And it has also a US self-affirmed GRAS status. Lonza has been producing the Carnipure L-Carnitine for the last 33 years. And actually, our first kilogram of Carnipure was sold to the infant formula. So that's testified to its safety and quality. It is a clinically researched ingredient. We have over 45 different publications looking at different applications and supporting different claims. We talked today about weight management. Last time we talked about sports and nutrition, but there are also other publications and other conditions that the Carnipure L-Carnitine can address. And overall, it is recognized as globally as a high quality, to have a high quality standard, several certifications, kosher, halal, allergen-free. So the Carnipure logo indicates the high quality, efficacious, trusted brand consumers are looking for in their dietary supplements. And with that, I would like to thank you, and we are open to any questions you might ask. Sue, I'm going to hand it to you now.